ABC 15 News at 11 starts now.
Now at 11, hoping for a change of mind from Governor Scott Walker. Supporters of the Kenosha Casino project make their way on foot into Madison.
Plus, a boil water order is still in effect in West Virginia after more than a dozen oil tankers spill into a river.
And today is Ash Wednesday, how Catholics around the world are honoring the occasion. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ashley Matthews.
And I'm Christine Belport. Temps are dipping down, way down into the single digits, and they'll be staying there for a few days.
And very windy out. We were looking at the flag back here earlier. To let us know how cold it's expected to get, let's head over now to meteorologist Brian Dukes. Hi, Brian.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, our coldest stretch of the winter so far is currently in place here. A bit of accomplishment, though. We're now above zero for most of the area. It's 2 degrees here in Madison, 5 in Janesville, 3 in Mineral Point, but still a few places below zero, including Baraboo and Camp Douglas coming in at 1 and 2 below. Add in that wind, which is out of the northwest at about 10 to 20 miles an hour, and it feels well below zero. In fact, dangerously cold, still feeling around 15 below here in Madison, 22 below zero in Baraboo and Camp Douglas, and these numbers only going to improve a little bit as we work through the afternoon. Fortunately, there is some sunshine out there. In fact, quite a bit of it. It is making it feel a little bit better and definitely look a little bit better, and that'll be with us as we work through the afternoon hours. As for temperatures, they will remain into the single digits all afternoon long, with most places topping out right around 5 or 6 degrees. We'll talk about a cold night, a few more cold days, and then a chance of snow as we wrap up the week. Those details in just a few minutes. Guys?
All right, Brian, can you believe people are out walking in it, making news right now? Members of the Menominee Nation are marching through the streets of Madison. They're here to protest Governor Walker's decision to deny the tribe permission to build a casino in Kenosha. Here is a live look at the scene. This is at Library Mall. As you may recall, these tribal members began walking from their northeastern Wisconsin reservation to Madison on Friday to raise awareness of Walker's decision. Earlier this month, they did ask the governor if he would consider, if they helped pay for a new Milwaukee Bucks stadium, then he would, in exchange, approve their casino. Well, Walker denied that proposal via a letter earlier this week.
After 15 in-person meetings, after thousands of communications and detailed information that have gone back and forth between not only the Menominee and the state, the Ho-Chunk, the Potawatomi, and others out there, we made the decision and announced it to the federal government's Bureau of Indian Affairs, and the decision is the same today as it was then.
The tribe members are headed to the Capitol at noon, where they will hold a rally with state lawmakers and representatives from other Wisconsin tribes. And new at 11, Governor Walker has expanded his political team to New Hampshire. He's hired 2 people, a senior advisor to lead his efforts there as he moves closer to a likely 2016 presidential run. His political operation, Our American Revival, said Walker hired Andy Leach as a senior advisor in New Hampshire. He is a former 2-time New Hampshire Republican Party executive director. He has already hired staff in Iowa as he seriously eyes a run for the White House, and he created the tax-exempt Our American Revival last month to raise and spend money.
Happening today, a South Wayne woman involved in a violent domestic dispute will be in court. 32-year-old Brandy Smithy will have a preliminary hearing. Smithy is charged with attempted homicide. The incident happened last Wednesday in the town of Wayne, but the Lafayette County Sheriff's Office wasn't told about it until Monday. Smithy was arrested and remains in jail. Theodore Bauer III suffered life-threatening injuries in the dispute. In case you missed it, here are the numbers from last night's primary election for Madison Mayor. Mayor Paul Soglin and Alderman Scott Resnick will advance to the April general election. Soglin won the primary by a landslide with 52% of the vote. Soglin says his first goals are to keep up with the school system, improve the transit system, and bridge inequality. Resnick won 23% of the vote and says if he's elected mayor, his biggest focus will be addressing racial disparities in the city and reducing homelessness.
A former police lieutenant has admitted to nearly 60 burglaries in 7 counties, including 3 in our viewing area. Former Waupun officer Brad Young has entered no contest pleas to crimes committed in Marquette, Green Lake, Dodge, Fond du Lac, Burnett, Waushara, and Wapaka counties. Young was arrested in 2013 after a multi-county crime spree, and that prompted other law enforcement agencies to take another look at unsolved burglaries. DAs in all counties have agreed to recommend no more than 10 years in prison. Around the nation now, the latest band of winter weather is bringing snow to the south. Snow came down quickly in Arkansas and coated everything in just a matter of minutes. Now, there wasn't much accumulation, but a few spots saw about an inch of snow. And remember, these areas are not used to it. Forecasters are expecting temperatures to be near 40 degrees today with sunny conditions. But it's not over yet. Another system packing a wintry mix of sleet, snow, and freezing rain is expected in the area Friday.
More than 24 hours after a tragic train derailment Monday in West Virginia, the scene is still too hot for investigators to investigate. 19 of the 109 train cars are still smoldering, and more than 100 of those cars are oil tankers. NBC's Ann Thompson is near the scene with this update.
It appears the fires are finally out after having burned for nearly 2 days at the crash site. Today, investigators will try to get into the site to try to determine what caused the derailment Monday afternoon and the spectacular fire that followed. It was a 109-car train. 107 cars were tankers carrying some 3 million gallons of crude. The oil came from the Bakken Shale in North Dakota. It is a type of oil the federal government says is more flammable than other crudes from California or Canada. The tankers involved in this accident were a new design, supposedly better able to withstand a crash.
That calls into question how resilient and how tough these tank cars actually may be.
The derailment occurred along the Kanawha River and prompted the shutdown of water to some 2,000 residents. Tests showed no detectable levels of oil in the river or water treatment plants.
Now with the tests coming back all negative, people get their water and get their lives back to work.
The taps are back on, but today a boil water order remains in effect. I'm Ann Thompson in Boomer, West Virginia. Now back to you.
In other news, the White House is holding a summit on violent extremism today. The Obama administration will highlight efforts around the world to prevent extremists and their supporters from recruiting others to commit acts of violence. President Obama is expected to speak at the summit this afternoon.
Well, today is a history-making Ash Wednesday in Vatican City, and it's because of an outreach program fostered by Pope Francis, an idea he had that he's made a reality. NBC's Janet Shamlian reports now from Rome.
St. Peter's Square, filled with visitors from across the globe, gathered to begin the season of Lent with the pontiff himself. And in time for Ash Wednesday, a new outreach from Pope Francis, the opening of a state-of-the-art facility near the Vatican, offering a free haircut, shave, and shower for Rome's homeless. The poor have been a centerpiece of his papacy, famous for washing and kissing the feet of both men and women, a papal first.
Well, I think he's seen a lot of poverty, first of all, in his life, and he realizes it's a question of human dignity.
This man took advantage of the new offering.
They let me take a shower. They gave me everything. Fresh clothes and underwear. First the shower, then the shave.
The effect, remarkable. And the Pope hopes life-changing. Last week, he made an unexpected visit to a shanty town on the outskirts of Rome, prompting a flurry of photos, some prayer, and loud applause. The Pope will be making his first visit to the U.S. in September to attend the World Meeting of Families, the event billed as the world's largest Catholic gathering of families.
And on that trip, the Pope is expected to focus on issues of mercy and human dignity. The faithful say he's leading by example by the shower and shave program that's going on here. Janet Shamlian, NBC News, Rome.